Afternoon and good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and coffee stream, episode 412. I hope everyone is having a good day, a good Monday. And I hope that my American friends are having a safe and family-filled, food-filled, fireworks-filled Memorial Day. I hope everyone's having a good time, had a good weekend, and is ready to hang out and have some news. So we're gonna take a bit of the stream, and we're gonna talk a bit about what happened in Canada on, I think, Friday. So we our parliament voted, I think it's 327 to 1, to suspend elections during a pandemic. Now, what this means, what this is supposed to mean, is that it's basically to avoid Justin Trudeau calling a snap election right now. And the reason that the opposition is trying to do this is because if Justin Trudeau's if Justin Trudeau were to be be in the debates and be on the campaign trail right now, unfortunately he would win a majority government. And then he wouldn't need the NDP or the Bloc Québécois or anybody's help to get anything passed. And then Canada would be in really big trouble. So this is basically a trap that the Bloc, the Conservatives, and the NDP have set for Trudeau, because if he tries to call an election, he will be moving against the House, which will not look good for him. This does not, because I've seen some of my American friends over the weekend tweeting that democracy is dead in Canada, stuff like that. This is not calling an end to general federal elections. The wording of this motion and the fact that so many people voted for it shows that it is like I said, it's basically a chess move. They're trying to make Trudeau make a mistake. So our elections, unlike you guys have them every 4 years, right, in the States. Constitutionally, we have them every 5 years. So we had one in 2019, which means we are scheduled for one in 2024. So that election is still going to happen. This motion does not affect that schedule, and it cannot. The only we did have election reform. We had the Election Reform Act of 2000, and that was reforming the War Measures the Elections Act of 1917, I believe it is, where the wives and female relatives of soldiers fighting abroad were given the power to vote, and what's it called? The citizens of Canada that immigrated from enemy countries, their voting rights were rescinded in that act. And then there was reform in 2000. But constitutionally, in our Constitution, we have elections every 5 years. And this motion will not and cannot change that. There would be nobody, not even, the Supreme Court would not let that happen. the abolishment of elections would just it would go to the Supreme Court. It would be a constitutional challenge, and it would fall flat if in front of the Supreme Court. There is, I'll admit, even I was a little bit worried when I first heard about this motion. I was very concerned, and then I watched a video that I'm actually gonna share. I'm gonna fast forward till the 4 minute mark, and we're just gonna play about the last 10 minutes of Viva Fry's video, because he does a very good job of explaining the issue. Hello, Spittle Buggies. Hello, Blind Ryan. Oh yeah, you finished the second Mass Effect thing, didn't you? I was with the kids, so sorry I missed part 2. But yeah, that was a really good stream. At least the one I saw. Where was it here? So I'm gonna quickly I'm gonna quickly share the link with myself. Because Viva Friday, he does a very good job of explaining. Because even he was like, ooh, right? It kind of freaked him out a little bit too. But he does a very good job of explaining this. So I'm gonna fast forward through the intro part, and then we're going to go through it really quick, and then I've got some other news that we can read and everything. So we're gonna have a good stream. We're gonna have a good stream, like we always do. So let's see here. Messages. My DM with myself. And there we go. Pasted and sent. Okay. Good, caught the stream, just finished mowing the lawn. Oh, hello, Pete. Costin, you have a good point about the non-confidence vote. The problem with that is that even if Parliament doesn't have confidence in Trudeau, the truth is right now he would still win the majority government. And we really, really don't need that. And because Parliament is dragging its feet on appointing a new Governor General, this is really our only way to keep them in check. Unfortunately. I don't like this motion either. But I understand it, if that makes sense. I don't like it at all, right? But I get it. I get why they're doing it. It is kind of an icky motion. But I get why they're doing it. It's kind of, I know it's kind of it's a icky place to be in, right? But yeah, like I really do understand why they are doing this. Okay. So we need to be at, I think, 4 minutes. The good thing is, though, that YouTube has fixed the slider so I can use voiceover with it. Let me quickly find... Where am I here? Where is it? Where are we? Okay, here we go. So we're at the 1 minute mark. Okay, so, and I may skip through more of it, to like if we need to, because YouTube fixed their thing, so I can use the slider without turning voiceover off. Yay! Okay. What's chat saying? Let's see. Costin says, mind you, an election after a vote of non-confidence shouldn't be automatic. Another person, i.e. the leader of the opposition, should propose another government to the Governor General. They absolutely. We need another Governor General, though. That's the problem. They're dragging their heels on appointing another GG. And the GG is there to keep the government in check. And when we don't have that government, that check, that's a problem. So, I mean, while this is kind of a sucky motion to make, it's like a necessary evil. I forgot about that, BP. Oh, yeah. See, it would be much different if we still had a Governor General in power. So here we go.
Until such time as the pandemic is over.
Question is the following one. Mr. Tidien, seconded by Mrs. Gill, moved that A, the House remind the government that a general election was held in October 2019, and sadly note that more than 1.3 million Canadians, including almost 360,000 Quebecers, have been infected with COVID-19, and that nearly 25,000 people have died as a result. And B, in the opinion of the House, holding an election during a pandemic would be irresponsible, and that it is the responsibility of the government to make every effort to ensure that voters are not called to the polls as long as this pandemic continues.
I watched it and I was like, okay, I've got questions.
Yeah.
So I had to look into it.
And also, before we carry on, Grill and Pirate Pete says it is Memorial Day in America. We do not know them all, but we owe them all. Exactly. I do wish my American subscribers and friends a very wonderful and safe and reflective Memorial Day. I hope you guys are able to remember your fallen with some good food and some good company, and of course some fireworks, because what's better than that, right? So let's carry on here.
Okay, in general, for those of you who don't know, under Canadian law, you have to have federal elections basically every 5 years.
Yeah.
So one way or the other, you're going to have elections every 5 years. That's under constitutional law, federal law. You have to have elections every 5 years from the last election. So this is why I don't go out at night, people. Can we bring back the curfew so I can feel safer?
He's on
That's
St.
a joke.
Catherine
It's a terrible
Street.
joke.
That's what it sounds like.
Although people are behaving rowdy. Federal law dictates that you have to have federal elections every 5 years. Okay, so what is this that I'm seeing? It was a resolution passed by members of parliament. I call it a motion, 300 and some odd to 1, suspending federal elections during a pandemic. And I got a little nervous. But the bottom line is, from what I understand, this was, call it a, what's the word I'm looking for? When you do something for the sake of it, it was a non-binding, basically a demonstrative motion that was intended to, by all accounts, highlight the hypocrisy, or at the very least put Justin Trudeau in a bind, because apparently, from people with whom I've consulted who know more about Canadian politics than I do, this was, by all accounts, apparently, if one were to call an election today, the consensus is that Justin Trudeau would have actually gained and the Liberal government would have gained in
Yes.
support. So if they were to call an election now, apparently by the accounts of the opposition, the Trudeau Liberal government would gain if there were to be an election called. And so the idea is that this motion, which is non-binding law because you don't change substantive election law by way of motion.
No. So that's the other thing to note. To people outside of Canada, and even maybe some Canadians, to reform like an election law, stuff like that, you don't make a motion. That's not how you do that. This is really, truly just a symbolic statement kind of thing. A symbolic, chess move trap for Trudeau. There's no way a motion before Parliament can change electoral law. It doesn't work that way. Hello, Scribbles!
It was to put pressure on the Trudeau government not to call an election now, because apparently consensus-wise, if they were to call an election now, he's being. That's a good dog. One pee outside is one less pee. Good dog, Bubba. This is a good dog. Okay, he peed. Good boy. He's so proud of himself. If they were to call an election now, consensus is that the Liberals would actually stand to gain. So the opposition, in theory, want to pressure the Liberal government not to call an election now. So they passed this motion, which was a symbolic, that's what I'm looking for, symbolic motion to pressure the Liberal government not to call an election. There was another reason why this is incredible. Oh, yes, that's right. There's another thing going on, which is called the Bill C-19.
Now, this is the thing. Bill C-19 is the stupid thing. Let's see. So can have elections during the depressions during war, but can't have an election to worry about getting the sniffles. That's a good point, Pete. I think that I would hope that these people don't actually believe that it would be too dangerous. I really do hope that this is just a calculated move. With the pandemic as an excuse. Because quite frankly, if I were a politician, that's what I would do. I would use the pandemic as the excuse, but it would totally be a calculated move on my part. It would just be a talking point for me if I were a politician. That's what I would do. I would, oh, the pandemic, it's too dangerous. But really my motive would be to hamstring Trudeau. That is exactly what I would do. If I were a politician, I would use the pandemic like that. I really would. I'm not a politician, so I can say that. If I were a politician, that would be what I would do.
Which was a Liberal piece of legislation intended to amend the Elections Act, the elections law, to be brought in line with the pandemic situation. So there's this Bill C-19, which was tabled, which has not yet passed, which has been delayed, and by some accounts delayed by the Conservatives, which would include some laws to amend the Elections Act for the situation of a pandemic. What do you think this Bill C-19 has? Well, according to the Liberals, it would add increased opportunities for voting.
Bill C-19 also extends voting hours, giving Canadians more opportunity to vote in a safe way that works for them.
Take that how you will.
Okay, so this Bill C-19 is a Liberal piece of legislation. Now, they want more voting hours. Here in Canada, you can vote for 12 hours on voting day, 9 to 9. You also have 2 weeks of advanced polling beforehand. How much more time do you need? Jesus Christ.
Some might say that that is democratizing the democratic process. Others might call it fortifying the democratic process. But this Bill C-19, which was, I think it was put forward in something like December, January, say February, whatever, a few months ago, was intended to change the laws temporarily to vote, to carry out an election during a pandemic. And it was intended, as one can imagine, to enhance mail-in voting, to extend hours. Some of the stuff I don't think many of us would have a problem with, extending hours, extending days for voting fine, extending the mail-in voting capacity.
Yeah.
Some of us might take issue with, but whatever.
And finally, this bill makes mail-in voting even more accessible. If Canadians did go to the poll in a pandemic, we anticipate that many more would want to vote by mail. And of course, we would know, Madam Speaker, that this would be a whole new way of voting in Canada other than in the provinces.
So there's this Bill C-19 that is on the table in the meantime, which has been delayed. If we're going to believe the partisan talking points, it's been delayed by the Conservatives, put forward by the Liberals, yada, yada, yada. C-19 has not yet been passed. It has not yet been put through the process.
Yeah.
And the fear, apparently, is that an election, a federal election, might be called before Bill C-19 is debated, passed, or refused.
Yes.
And so, in order to prevent the triggering, or in order to deter the triggering of a federal election, in the interim, all of these members of parliament, these MPs, have gotten together and said, we're going to pass a motion not to hold federal elections in the context of a pandemic. So that's the context. Some might say that it's almost pressuring or almost tempting Trudeau to call an election, because if he were to call an election when, by unanimity, save and except for Derek Sloan, all members of parliament said we don't want to hold an election during a pandemic, well, that might make Trudeau look like a rebel. Others might say they say it's sort of, I can't think of the word right now. It's a bluff. That's what it is. It's a bluff. Yeah. And they're saying, look, we're going to pass this resolution. We're not going to hold a federal election during a pandemic. And if Trudeau agrees, good. We're going to wait until such time as we think he's lost support in the polls. And if he disagrees, he's going to trigger the election, and he's going to be the big bad boogeyman, triggering an election during a pandemic. Politics ruins everything, as does the media. But that's the idea. So, bottom line, people are circulating this video of the members of parliament, the vote, which is virtually unanimous, saying MPs are voting to suspend federal elections during a pandemic. It is a largely symbolic gesture because it doesn't change the substantive federal law on elections in any event, which has certain deadlines, which we're not near. No. It's a minority government. This is true. And the minority government average duration is something like 18 months to 24 months. And we're like right within that framework. But this motion doesn't change the substantive law of federal election law.
So yeah, that's basically what he's saying about that. It's a risky move. It's kind of it is very risky, but unfortunately, us not having a governor general is really having a big impact on this. If we had a governor general, I don't think this motion would have been put forth. Honestly, hand to God, I really think if we had a governor general right now, this wouldn't have passed. This wouldn't have gone through at all. It wouldn't have even been thought of. But because our governor general has resigned and we don't have one right now to keep the government in check, I think this is what the opposition has come up with. And you're right, Pete. There is a fear about mail-in voting, some people or some, conservative votes or whatever votes getting lost. That's a valid fear. I think more voting hours and more polling stations and more accessible polling stations for the disabled is something that should be absolutely provided. I'm not too crazy about mail-in voting, but the other stuff, yeah, the other stuff I think is fine, but I think this is one of, it's literally just a chess move. There's no, you know, Canada's not ending its electoral stuff. Sorry for my ignorance. What would be the American equivalent to a governor general? There is none, because our parliament still has flavors of British Parliament, so our system is completely different from your guys' system. You guys kind of made your own system. It's kind of cool. But the first past the post system, the Governor General, in point of fact, is largely a figurehead. It's a throwback to the days of when the Queen still stamped our laws. But the Governor General's position has somewhat changed in the years since our Constitution was brought completely to Canada, and the Queen no longer has to put her stamp on our laws. Now the Governor General's job is to basically be a check and balance against the federal government and the Prime Minister. So if the Prime Minister wants to do something like prorogue Parliament, which means shut it down, for example, he has to go and ask permission from the Governor General. If the speech from the throne that is given after an election is done, that's given by the Governor General. Yeah, it splits. Yeah, the Governor General is the head of state. The Costin puts it pretty well that our head of state is split into the Governor General and the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister runs the country. The Governor General basically keeps the Pincalo says Nancy Pelosi is supposed to be the equivalent of what the power of the Governor General is. That's true. That's a good analogy. So yeah, that is basically what's going on here. Canada is not ending elections. Democracy is still happening. We're still voting. Our federal election is scheduled for 2024, and this motion cannot affect electoral law. It's just not. It can't. So yeah, I just wanted to take that first part of the stream and kind of break that down, because it's hard to do all of that on Twitter in like 280 characters at a time. So I figured I would just take that time and do that. So let's see what stories we have here. So we our premier, Mr. Ford, has fired the chief medical officer and appointed a new one. So let's read about that. Okay. Let's see. And share. So this is an article from the Toronto Sun. All right. So, where's the headline here? RNAO chief praises new top doc in Ontario. I don't know what RNAO is. This is published May 30th, so yesterday. Oh, she's the CMO for Kingston Frontenac. Okay. So Dr. Karen Moore. Oh no, we have a Karen for our... Uh-oh. That's not good. I have received a message. What happened? Oh. A new teacher. Okay. Every time I get messages from... So our daycare has this, like, app where you can read, like, reports and stuff, like how your kid did at school and everything. But every time I get, like, they can send messages through the app. And most of the time it's like, here's the menu for the week. Here's an update on what's going on at the school, blah, blah, blah. But I always get this little worry. I'm like, uh-oh, what did he do? What did he do and where is he bleeding? But no, it's fine. Okay. Is it 2023? I thought it was 2024. Thank you, Pete. It's a man and he's horrible. Oh, is he? Kieran. Oh, Kieran Moore, not Karen. Kieran. Is he a horrible guy? Oh, okay. That sucks. Happy moving day, by the way. That's my best friend in the chat, everybody.
Ontario will have a new Chief Medical Officer of Health by late June. The government will replace Dr. David Williams, who is going to retire on June 25th.
Oh, he's retiring. I thought he was fired.
Ontario will have a new... The government will replace Dr. David Williams, who is going to retire on June 25th. Dr. Karen Moore, who is the Medical Officer of Health for Kingston, will be the province's new top doctor.
I see. It would take a really interesting turn for the Liberals to extend this COVID bullshit till then. Thanks. Yep. I hope you guys are doing okay today.
YouTube video.
At least got some help.
YouTube. Frame. And Dove. Williams has held the position for 5 years.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
As the current health crisis unfolded in Ontario, critics of the province's response began to call for Dr. Williams to be replaced. You are currently... Nonetheless, Premier Ford reappointed Williams as recently as November. Williams' folksy, avuncular communication style was regarded as counterproductive during the pandemic, a time when strong leadership and clear messages were required. You are currently on a text element. Dr. Doris Brinspan, head of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario, RNAO, began calling for Dr. Williams to step down or be replaced 14 months ago, in April of 2020. You are currently on a text element.
Why? Let's see here.
On Sunday, Brinspan said that replacing Williams was long overdue.
Okay.
Story continues below. Third-party ad content, frame 1. And Dove. You are currently on a group. Maybe someone finally.
Stop it.
Maybe someone finally helped the premier realize that Dr. Williams cannot take us forward, she said, adding, I'm sure it was not easy for Dr. Williams. Grinspan is very pleased with the new appointment. I think Dr. Kieran Moore has demonstrated throughout the pandemic that he follows the precautionary principle, she said.
How? I don't understand how. Why is a doctor the head of the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario? I'll have to text you later to explain what our idiot realtor did to... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, fuck. Murphy's Law has been after you too, has it? Oh, no.
He has shown consistently that he takes decisive action and that he is ahead of the curve. He is an excellent collaborator and communicator.
Ahead of the curve. All right. Okay, cool.
Dr. Doris Grinspan, head of the RNAO, Host Media Network.
Is that why Queen's University students drove everybody back inside and
chief medical
made the beaches close again?
And, said Grinspan, the public health statistics in his area speak for themselves. She noted that Dr. Moore understands and appreciates nurses. That's crucial, as their public health role will be pivotal in opening up the province once the pandemic is behind us.
You're a doctor. What are you doing talking about understanding nurses? Shouldn't a nurse be talking about doctors understanding nurses? He's ahead of the curve. He flip-flops before Fauci has a chance to.
Story continues below. Third.
Well done, Pete.
Frame 2. End of. You are currently on a group. End of. Grinspan is not celebrating quite yet. She's waiting to see whether or not the province will open schools for the last 3 weeks of the academic year. You are currently on a text element.
Would you? The last 3 weeks of June are basically nothing. There's nothing to do. There's nothing to teach. What's the point? Like, I want my kids back to school, right? I really do. It's good for them. And it's you know, they need the socialization. But to send them back for 3 weeks and then send them home for summer, like, just stay consistent. Just wait it out. Realtors and idiots are evil, says Costin. We should make... Oh, you're mean. Don't make my friend deal with them all on our behalf. She'll kill everybody.
She thinks it's a huge gamble. In addition to the rise of B.1.617, there is now another variant of concern that originated in Vietnam. It is highly transmissible. It combines characteristics of the two existing variants first found in India and the UK and could cause issues with vaccine efficacy. You are currently...
It's super COVID!
YouTube video. YouTube. End of. Unmute video button. Grinspan said nurses know very well how important school is for children and their parents, but sees the current debate as a distraction from the main event, which is to focus on crushing this virus.
You can't crush a virus! You realize how many more viruses exist on this planet than every other living thing? Oh my god. Anyway, no, we need to focus on getting everybody vaccinated and everything over the summer, and then get them to school in the fall. Wonder if they'll be offering summer classes to make up for the lost time. I saw virtual summer classes offered. Another variant in Vietnam. Why are you people not afraid? Yeah, I saw summer classes being offered, but only virtually. So basically the same thing that's been going on.
Doing that means fully vaccinating everyone who wants to be vaccinated by the end of the summer, she added, and that will require an army of personnel. You are currently on a story continue. Third party. Save frame. End of. Third party. Luckily, the RNAO has thousands of nurses ready to put shots in arms. They've been waiting to be called upon in the vaccine effort for months. You are currently... Once vaccinations are widespread, said Grinspan, then we can all focus on reopening the province, schools, businesses, travel, all of it. You are currently... And work can begin on the huge backlog of surgeries and medical procedures that were put on hold because of COVID-19. Heading level 2. More on this topic.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were put on hold because of COVID. Like, a lot. So it's crazy. The 3 older boys have their vaccines booked. Awesome. I'm looking at going to Shoppers. One of the Shoppers is possibly to get it. All right. So we're going to read a very sad story right now, but we need to read it because it happened. And it needs to be talked about. Because yeah, Canada does have a big problem with what happened with the natives. And why is this not... Where is the stupid article? Oh, I think this is a tweet. Yeah, this is a tweet. Where's the picture or the link? Where is... Yes, continue, please. Oh, I got a message. The following may contain sensitive material. Wow. That's why I couldn't find it to share it. I had to hit continue. So yeah, this is gonna be grim, guys. I'm just warning you guys. Apparently, Sam, apparently there was the school in Brantford. They were trying to excavate it about 10 years back because they knew there was a grave there, a mass grave. And the federal government stepped in and stopped the excavation. And it hasn't been able to get off the ground since. I found that out from my orientation and mobility teacher today. So we were talking about that, and she told me about the school in Brantford, because she lives near there, and she was saying that there's known to be a grave there, and the federal government stepped in and stopped the uncovery or the excavation. And it's still being held up. Where's that stupid headline? Where is it? There it is. So this is a tweet, and then this is there's like a photo. Where is it here? Indigenous community warns and demands action after discovering 215 children in a mass grave at Kamloops School. So I'm trying to find the actual article here. This is a Reuters article. Where is it here? Sorry, I'm just trying to find the actual link to the article here. There it is. Okay. Come on. Load. Load. Thank you. Oh, where am I here? This is like a tweet buried in tweet buried in tweet. I can't find the actual article here. But there's basically our city's mayor is trying to get all the flags lowered for 215 hours from today until June 9th. I just want the fucking article, guys. Where is it? Oh, it's a video. I'm hoping the situation changes that. Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, this is just really sad. It's and the problem is that there's so much virtue signaling going on with respect to natives that the government is not providing them with ways of being productive. They are forcing them into welfare, and they're not allowing, like, the all of the like the pipeline, for example, that I think, what was it, 80% of the First Nations along the line, along where the pipeline would have gone in, were like, yes, we want the pipeline, we want the jobs, we want the everything that this is going to bring. And like 10 hereditary chiefs, not even elected chiefs, 10 hereditary chiefs were like, no. Oh, is the overhead light not enough? Damn it, the link's not working. I just tried to grab the link, Pete, and I can't. It's being stupid. Here, let me plug in the ring light. Ring light. Plugging in the ring light. Where's the stupid outlet? There's the stupid outlet. Okay. And click. Okay. You're not a mod? The hell is that about? How the hell is Grillin' Pirate Pete not a mod? Okay. Let's see here. Why did I close Twitter? That was dumb. That was stupid of me. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this we need to like actually provide Native Canadians with ways to be productive members of society instead of wallowing in guilt over absolutely horrible things that have happened. We need to acknowledge that they happened, and instead of flagellating ourselves over it, we need to go, okay, this was what happened. It was horrifying. Let's fix it and actually fix it instead of doing hollow things like lowering flags. Like, actually fix it. Fix the water problem. Fix fix the problems, with not, because there are like native, it's still hard for natives to get bank loans. Like the way that black people were treated before the civil rights movement in banks, that is how natives are treated. Like, and this is from, like, you can get this information from bank officials, though, that like Native Canadians just are not extended the same loan opportunities and credit opportunities. It's link is showing up now. Okay, I'll fix it. I'll grab it. Where's the link? Oh, linky poo. Come on, give me the link. Ah. No, it's voiceover, Pete. It's voiceover being a dick and not letting me click on the link. Yeah, find where all the children are disappearing to. Find where all the women are going. Right? Bust up the trafficking rings. All that shit. Like, actually do something. Don't just sit there and be like, oh, we were horrible to the natives. Stay on your reservation. That's what's going on right now. Oh, we were so horrible to you, but you just stay over there, okay? Just stay over there. Just stay over there. Like, it's disgusting. It's like, it is absolutely disgusting that people, that the government would rather, virtue signal and flagellate itself to make themselves look and feel better and actually do nothing substantive to help the Native Canadians. Because I guarantee you, if the government actually tried to help them constructively, they would probably actually want to be productive members of society and join and be part of everything. Isn't that an amazing thought? Isn't it a fascinating idea that if you actually treat humans like humans, they may actually want to participate in things? Wow, what a novel thought. God, people make me angry sometimes. Let's see. Oh, We Are the Children, right? There was a great movie called We Were Children. It's based on factual events. The people who the stories were about speak in the movie also. I'll check that out. How about we find a way to turn off the boil water advisories that have been going on for 20 years? Exactly, honey. All thanks to the paper, oil, and nickel mines. Yeah. How about we do that? So many substantive things that us schmucks on this YouTube stream have come up with, but the government can't fucking be bothered. It gets me so angry. And I'm not even native, right? Like, I cannot imagine how angry stuff like this would make a native. Like, I'm not native, and this makes me livid. So I just can't fathom how pissed off if I were a native Canadian, I would be like, fuck you. Oh, a cookies thing. Close, go away. I don't want your cookies messages. Fuck off. Your cookies don't taste good. Your cookies are crap. The province won't return to normal just yet. Of fucking course not. So this is published yesterday and updated today. And if it will let me get to the text of the article, that would be fabulous. Okay, here we go.
Link. Ontario's stay-at-home order is set to end on June 2nd, but that doesn't mean everything in the province will return to normal. You are correct. The link. Provincial government confirmed to Narcity that the stay-at-home order is still set to end this week. However, the emergency brake will still remain in place.
So, basically stay home still. Oh, I'm so sick of this shit. Did you know that there is a grocery store in Saskatchewan, I believe it is, that is hesitant about selling natives hairspray? The fuck? Why? Plus, I bet some of the natives trafficked end up at some of the government's secret houses. Oh, you are probably not wrong there, cannibalistic wizard. That's ridiculous. No hair. They don't want to sell hairspray. And Jesus Christ.
This means that link. Gatherings will still be limited to 5 people outdoors, and a majority of the province will remain closed. Personal link. Gatherings will still be outdoors, and a majority of the province will remain closed. Personal care services, dining, and gyms are some of the facilities that will remain shuttered. You are currently. Story continues below. Third-party ad content. On top of this, the government has link. Also extended certain orders, Chrome, that will stay in place past the stay-at-home order. Until June 16th, overnight camping and interprovincial travel will also be banned.
I just want to know if I'm allowed to leave my city and go to another city. That's all I want to know. Because I want to head up and see my friend in the summer. That's all I care about.
The emergency brake will stay in place until Ontario link. Reaches step 1 of its reopening plan. You are currently on which is expected to occur around mid-June. Once the province enters this step, residents will see more things start to open. You are heading level 2. What will open during step 1? Outdoor gatherings will be increased to 10 people. Outdoor dining will open with 4 people per table, and outdoor fitness classes will also resume. You are currently on it.
Okay.
Essential stores will be able to sell non-essential items and welcome customers at a 25% capacity, while non-essential retailers, except for stores located in malls with no outdoor entrance, will be able to reopen at 15% capacity. You are currently on a text element.
We'll be able to buy clothes in store again? Oh, right. Yay!
Outdoor pools and outdoor zoos will also be able to open under this step. You are Religious services and ceremonies will also be able to operate as long as people are distancing 2 meters apart. Next up, from your site articles,
That's... Let's see if there's anything
list to link
past
link
this.
end of list. Discover more. End of list. Chrome has new related articles around.
No, there's not. Okay. So yeah, that's what gets to happen for us in Ontario. Yay. Jesus Christ. I just want to buy my kids socks and hats that I know will fit them. I know, right? I swear I'm gonna get arrested one of these days. I just got back to town now. It took me 45 minutes. Oh my god, honey. And see you, obviously. Yeah, exactly. Right? I'm using a bag strap for a belt. Yeah, Pincalo can't even go get a belt right now. He tried to go into Giant Tiger the other day and literally could not buy a belt because it was fucking blocked off. It's like, Jesus Christ. Oh man. So let's see here. What's the next thing? I think I've got a couple more articles and then we're going to end the stream and I'm going to go clean my kitchen. So this is a cool story to end on. It's a space story. We all know how much I love those. Bang on the door. What are you doing? Are you praying in there? No, we're holding a BLM rally. Okay, as long as you're not praying. Yeah. Where are we here? Do. Oh, my phone is going to die soon. That's the other thing I need to do is charge my phone. Okay. So, apparently there are some newly discovered glaciers on Mars. Which I'm not really surprised about because of how cold Mars is and the fact that we know that there is water on Mars. But still, it's kind of cool. Newly discovered glaciers on Mars may help humans settle on the red planet one day. Okay. I think we need to... Before I read this, I'm going to just say something. I think we need to stop trying to colonize Mars. Okay? We need... First of all, we need to focus on just getting humans in space for longer periods of time. We need to go back to the moon, first of all. And also, colonizing Mars, there is so much that can go wrong. Like, it's one of the worst planets to terraform. Like, unless you're gonna come up with some kind of dust resistant filtration system. The story I didn't send you. Oh yeah. the the hundreds of people that gathered in town square for the Trinity Baptist worship in the square, something like that. All right. So this is from CBC News, and it was posted May 31st, so today. And here is a picture of the planet-wide dust storm from 2018 that was snapped. So that's pretty cool
Currently on a button. To click
to
this
head
button.
the article with. So here we go.
If humans are to truly become interplanetary settlers, we are going to need to have access to water, a lot of it. But loading it on a rocket would be heavy, and trying to escape Earth's gravity with all that weight would be costly. You are currently
No,
on a
it
text
wouldn't
element.
just be costly, it would be damn near impossible.
That's why space agencies such as NASA and the European Space Agency, as well as planetary geologists, have been looking for sources of water on Mars. You are now a link. New paper published in the journal Icarus. Chrome has new window. Suggests there is a unique subsurface ice feature in a location that would be optimal for future explorers of the red planet. You are
What,
currently on a text
permafrost?
element. Ideally, human colonies would be located close to the equator, where it is not only more temperate, in Mars terms, but also easier for a spacecraft to land and take off. Satellite observations by orbiters around Mars suggest there is an ice sheet in a flat plain called Arcadia Planitia at roughly 35 degrees north latitude. It's a site that both NASA and SpaceX are considering.
Arcadia Planitia, huh?
Link. For future human exploration. You are currently on a text element. A satellite image of the Arcadia Planitia plain. New research suggests there is a channel of subsurface ice in the flat region that could make it an ideal place for human settlement. NASA. In this new study, researchers found that it's not just an ice sheet, but a kind of shallow river of ice, similar to what we see in regions of Antarctica.
Okay.
When you look closer, you find a lot of characteristics that point to these being glaciers of channelized ice. But what's so odd about it is that it's in a flat land terrain, said Shannon Hibbard, lead author of the paper and a PhD candidate at Western University in London, ONT.
Oh, cool! That's pretty cool. We've got a local girl heading this study. That's awesome. Let's see. Uranus would be hard. Well, yeah. Any of the gas planets would be harder.
Typically, glaciers would be found either in valleys, gullies, or forming around the base of mountains. Instead, this isn't a flat area. These types of ice flows weren't expected on Mars. You
Very
are currently
cool.
on a text, but it's great news for future human Martians. We want to basically land as low, or as close to the equator as we can, and Arcadia Planitia is pretty dang close, Hibbard said. If humans are to truly become interplanetary settlers, we are going to need to have access to water, a lot of it. But loading it on a rocket would be heavy, and That's why space agencies such as NASA.
Why did it take me to the top again?
That's why space agencies. That's why space. If humans are to truly. That's why space.
Oh, that sucks. It just...
Ideally, a human link. New paper published in the journal.
That sucks.
Link.
What the hell?
A satellite image of the Chrome. But we want to basically land as low, or it's also promising, she said, because the evidence of this massive ice reserve is in a
There we
relatively
go.
flat area, and we want to land somewhere flat and boring because that's the safest place to land.
Yep.
We're currently on a text element.
Absolutely. Flat and boring is good when you're landing on a different planet. Absolutely.
Just how much ice is there? Based on previous research that suggested roughly 13,000 to 61,000 cubic kilometers are below the surface in Arcadia Planitia, the researchers suggest 3.5 to 16% of that volume is the ice channel.
Wow.
Heading level 2. Millions of years in the making. Earth and Mars have axial tilts of 23.5 degrees and 25 degrees, respectively. And while Earth's tilt shifts slightly, Mars's tilt can shift by as much as 60 degrees, said Tanya Harrison, a Mars researcher and planetary scientist at Planet Labs, an Earth imaging company, who was not involved in the research. You are
Yeah,
currently on a
Mars
text element.
wobbles really crazily, so the temperature can really vary.
At some point in the last few tens of thousands to millions of years, that ice has actually migrated from what was the pole to what is today the equator, because the equator becomes the pole, she said.
Yeah.
The findings are particularly exciting to Harrison because they also reveal what Mars was like so long ago. Usually when you think of glaciers flowing, they're on the side of a mountain. You have a steep slope that is causing those things to flow downhill. But if you have a flat surface, it's generally kind of hard to get things moving, she said. So seeing that maybe we had these ice streams on Mars is really cool, since we've never really documented anything that looked like that before.
Yeah, that is a cool feature. I really wonder how it happened in a flat place like that. That's pretty cool. It's very interesting.
Images of a fresh meteorite crater 12 meters across located within Arcadia Planitia on Mars show how
So this is a
the ice could
picture
be used for
here.
irrigation, drinking water as well as rocket fuel, which can be made by link, splitting the hydrogen and oxygen. Chrome has new window.
Yep.
Something that's also been proposed for missions to the moon. You are current radar is able to penetrate from 30 meters to a few kilometers below the surface, said Gordon Osinski, co-author of the paper and director of Western University's Institute for Earth and Space Exploration. But there's
Oops.
some
Sorry about
current
that.
radar is able to penetrate from 30 meters to a few kilometers below the surface, said Gordon Osinski, co-author of the paper and director of Western University's Institute for Earth and Space Exploration. But there's more to learn, and it might involve sending a satellite to explore those depths or perhaps a dedicated rover, he said. You are current list one item.
That's a really, really cool finding. That, like, this glacier
End of list one item.
on a flat
Bullet.
surface.
Link.
Like,
End of-
that's really cool.
It's possible Canada will consider. End of list. We have a big unknown in the top 10 to 20 meters, he said. If there is ice there and how much? And of course that's the critical depth. We are not going to go deeper than that remotely to get ice for these human missions.
Yeah.
It's possible Canada will consider playing a role in further research and shallow mapping of the area, particularly after the success of the Canadian radar used on the OSIRIS-REx.
That would be cool. If Canada were to step up and take a big role in this, I think that would be really cool. How it happened, aliens. Yes, ancient aliens. UFologists suggest.
Link. Mission to the asteroid Bennu. Period. I really do think there's a need for this mission, and Canada could play a big role because there is the idea that it would be a Canadian radar that would fly on that mission to look at these shallow ice deposits, Osinski said. So,
That would be cool.
period.
That would be really awesome because, you know, we have the Canada arm on the space station.
I really do think there's a need for this mission, and Canada could play a big role because there is the idea that it would be a Canadian radar that would fly on that mission to look at these shallow ice deposits, Osinski said. So, that's quite exciting to me.
Yeah,
Heading level 2. About the author.
that's really cool. The Canadian technology could be, you know, a big role in this in further discoveries and mapping of these ice plains. I think that's really awesome. I think that's a really, really cool discovery, and you know, good time for Canadians, for technology and science. So, guys, on that note, you have spent another hour of your time with me, and I do thank you for that. Again, I really do hope that my American friends have a safe and I don't want to say happy Memorial Day, but you know, a reflective and celebratory and you know, a celebratory Memorial Day, and you know, I hope you're able to, you know, have some good food and some good family time, and if you do like to blow up fireworks, I hope you have some great times with that, because that's always fun. And I thank you all for joining me. Remember to join me on Twitch tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Beat the Blind Girl. And this week is Canadian Wednesday. No, wait. It's Wednesdays with Skep this week, I think. I have to look. I think it's Wednesdays with Skep this week. Anyway, catch me on Twitch tomorrow and catch me back here for the coffee stream on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your Monday, guys, and I'll see you later. Bye!